Hello YouTube, welcome back to Star Citizen News for the 11th of the 3rd, 2020. As you can see, ILW isn't here this week. He's away on military service and sent his condolences ahead of time. So guys, this week we're talking about this week's Star Citizen Live, and no, just no, 3.0, not 3.9. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the episode. Okay, guys, so let's just get started, yeah?
Okay. The number 2 question is the ship-to-ship spawning making it into 3.9?
Fast answer, no. So basically, it's on our radar, and if I remember correctly, I believe we are working on it in some factor, but it's not going to make it into 3.9.
What can I say already, guys? That's the first no. There are a lot more to come. So anyway, let's move on to the next part of the video.
I was trying to think of the Starship Troopers thing. I'm doing my part. But yeah, that's what it was, yeah.
Congratulations.
Hey, it's always a good thing when you think of Starship Troopers. Like, it's never a bad time to think of Starship Troopers.
True.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Great start to the episode, right? These guys talking about Starship Troopers and moving on. Alrighty, here we go.
And so it increases the workflow versus having to, okay, I have my big OC that has everything, and then I go to one of those smaller OCs and open up a different editor window, and then basically just keep on stacking editor windows open until I find the one that I want. So this is a way for us to kind of crack things open and almost like Russian doll it down to what we need to do to fix it. And then so we're working on things that increase our workflow and increase our iteration time.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'll stop it there. Guys, it looks like with their current internal systems, as we know, CryEngine is a nightmare to work with, and you have to have multiple screens open at once just to find the sub-screen you're looking for or the actual edit you're working on, etc. and so forth. To then, spend about half an hour finding it, to then spend 5 minutes on fixing it. What they're trying to do is actually find best practice now. So they're trying to do the Russian doll, the babushka doll approach to doing things, where they are trying to streamline the process of searching for that specific information or that specific edit or that specific code, and minimizing your search period from 30 minutes down to 1 minute at a time. This is a great start. This means that they're actually beginning to listen to the backers who are going through Spectrum and complaining about how much time it's taking, to finally, after 8 years, 8 whole years, are starting to look at streamlining practices. At least they're doing it, right? Better late than never. That's what my missus always says. We won't go there, but yeah, look, at least they're looking at actually speeding up things, getting into a professional mindset, being pushed by you guys now, which is super important. Please do not stop doing this. Keep pushing as hard as you can each and every week. So these episodes become more professional. This information that you guys are putting forward is being actually adhered to finally, and your requests are actually getting met. Yeah, because this episode is a direct demonstration of no, it's not yet. So now you have to push harder for your sake and my sake to get what we want from this game, and that's obviously a finished final product that we can actually play. So anyway, moving on. Okay.
Hey, it's all about Alpha 3.9. Will player-to-player direct cash transfers be in 3.9? This is a major pain point for any group play at the moment.
It is. No, it's not. Sorry.
It is a pain point.
It is a pain point. We know that. It's not going to be in 3.9. Basically, we know that we need to refactor the Mobi Gloss and actually get it into building blocks, and then that allows us to scale. So, from my standpoint, that is one of my highest priorities, and I can kind of lay you out the highest priorities from a UI standpoint. So we, on our EU vehicle feature team, we actually have people that are working on the ship HUD and basically moving towards what we need to do, and you start seeing elements of it being moved out, or being not moved out, but being pushed out with each release. So basically the center part of the screen versus the upper corner or the MFDs, we kind of just work through each section, and it's the same thing with the player visor. So basically right now we have the bottom left hand corner, which is the actor status, and then from there we'll be doing the mini map, and we'll be doing the weapon section, and we'll be doing mission notifications and tutorials. So basically we've got the EU vehicle feature team, part of that team working on the ships, and then we've got part of the actor feature team working on the visor, as well as some of the UI feature team to kind of balance between the visor if they need help on those, and then the next thing would be the Mobi Gloss.
And we've touched on this before. It's we try to minimize temporary work as much as possible. The Mobi Gloss right now is made entirely out of Flash, and we want to convert it to our new building blocks tech, which we first discussed on ISC a couple quarters ago. If we built the technology into it now, if we did the transfers now, we'd have to redo it later, because we'd be building it for Flash. We'd have to redo it for building blocks. So it's one of those. It's rather than spend our time doing work that we know we'll have to throw away in the near-term future, where it just has to wait. It's a matter of priorities, but we're very aware. We're very aware. We were actually doing an internal play.
I'm just going to stop it there, guys. We like to cut down on redoing things. Sorry, it's been 8 years and everything has been redone. Like to cut down on it. Okay. Sure, mate. Moving forward. Alrighty.
As well.
There's a question from live chat about once Mobi Gloss is rebuilt in building blocks, can we have an app to remote start our ship? People want to be able to just turn on the lights and unlock the doors.
I would prefer that just be on the player. It's almost like cars nowadays. If you have just a remote starter, like I'd rather we do it that way, where you set up something on your ship, and as a remote start, and then it just you get close and it unfolds, opens up, and
like it already, just like a proximity alert kind of thing. You get
I would prefer it to be that way. So I don't think it needs to necessarily be Mobi Gloss.
Sorry. Your preference, mate, has nothing to do on what the backers want. This is the problem with CIG, guys. They prefer not to do it because it's a bit of hard work. Oh, poor dudes. What do we want? Well, the players, the community is asking for that to be done. Get it done. Don't ask questions. Do what you're told. We're the major stakeholders. Accept it. Deal with it. You set it up this way. That's why it's rolling out. We don't care what your preference is. It's what we want. Okay, let's just get that point very clear, guys, that we give them directive of what we want and they provide it to us because we've paid for that privilege. Okay? Right. Anyway, moving on.
Will physicalized inventory make it into 3.9?
No, that's waiting for iCache. Basically, we have what we call internally the piss pit system. It's a wonderful name, I know.
We're really good at naming things here.
It's the personal inner thought aspect and being able to pull things off and adjust the way your hotkeys are working and kind of what inventory you have on your person at that time. So, but as far as physical inventory and because right now everything's global, us switching over to physical inventory, we need to wait for iCache to come in first.
And if you're for more conversation about what iCache is and how it works, we talked about it a bit at CitizenCon, and then again in either one of the last two pillar talks, they start to blur together.
Okay. That's 4 no's so far. And how far are we into this video? Quality, right? moving on.
But
Alrighty.
will pirates be able to sell cargo from stolen ships in 3.9?
Yes. Well, actually, from stolen ships or blown up ships. From blown up ships, yes. From stolen ships, I would have to check in on that. I don't. My gut feeling is no right now. If it's not working. Okay. Basically, if somebody's taking notes, then send me a note.
Yeah, it's hilarious. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Making crap up, and that's no number 5. Moving on. Alrighty.
Efficient as possible. Will we see an increase in player server capacity for 3.9?
No. Right now, I think we talked about it last time. Like the server frame rate still isn't running the way that we want it to run. We have some code fixes in there. It's not a death by 1,000 cuts, but it's basically there's no silver bullet, for it right now. So we're going through and this was another thing that I was talking to Rob about is basically kind of what the plans are to hit this hard. And we have some code that's coming in that we feel will allow us to evaluate those things better and basically kind of see the outlier and see if we're getting stalled on any thread, and then figure out how we can work that out and reduce that stall. So obviously that will have impact on the server, and then ideally get the server frame rate up first before we start adding new people in.
So what they're basically saying is we're nowhere near SSOCS being completed or server meshing, because that's just not even being discussed in this episode at all. Just saying. Next part of the video. Alright guys, you're about to have 2 no's in a row. Get ready.
Next, will we be able to buy food at the various food courts and many landing zones in the game and drink at the bar in 3.9?
Yes. So, I mean, the bartender stuff is going in right now. So, but yes. So you'll be able to buy it from vending machines, as well as I think there's the pizza brokers and stuff like that. So
you mentioned,
and then
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, right now the bar, like we're just making sure everything is copacetic and it works on the feature work has been done. Now there were some issues that we just wanted to see and kind of make sure everything's good, and running it in situation as well as running it with internally what we call services, which is basically mimicking the online state. And sometimes there's been disparity between what you see in kind of like an editor versus on the server. So it's just making sure that there's no disparity and everything's good, and then it should just go in.
You mentioned vending machines. The next question is big bennies.
Actually, I think that I misquoted myself. So I not misquoted. I said something wrong. Vending machines will not work. So it's something that we were working on. And basically just didn't make it. So there's us thinking about, obviously the Big Benny version, but there's a holistic approach that we want to make sure that it works, and basically acts like a vending machine. And we didn't get that working for 3.9. So at the food courts and at the bar, yes, you can get food and drink, but not at vending machines.
Then hopefully it's the last food-related question. Are we going to be able to store food in the ship's kitchen area?
Not for 3.9. However, you can store packaged food on your person, same with drinks, and then you can use it that way. But you can't do it for, I guess, theoretically, you could buy a bunch of stuff and just kind of place it in there, but it's not like somebody's filling the fridge for you kind of thing.
Hundreds of people voted that question up. People really want their kitchenettes.
Hey guys, once again, you're putting the requests in, you're telling them that's what you want, and no. Just keep saying it. No. 3-point no. Alrighty.
When you go to eat or drink, Tyler, now he's feeding me only food-related questions. When you go to eat or drink, do you have to take your helmet off first?
I'm trying to remember this. I think right now, no. I think so, but it might be that yes, you do, because we have the ability to block the players from doing certain actions.
He hasn't got a clue. It's not under his guise or his pillar, and Jared should have not asked that question. But, you know, go on you, Jared. Dickhead. I mean, I didn't say anything out loud then, did I? Sorry. Moving on.
Because the next question is actually related to it. It says, will we be getting a remove helmet button with 3.9?
No, not for 3.9. Basically, we have the ability to do it, and something that we were working on. We have it working with a few helmets, but obviously we have a dearth of helmets in the game that we need to go through and do. And the content team just didn't have enough time to do a pass on it. So
gotcha. Why would it not affect? Why would a remove helmet not just work for every helmet across the board? Is it because of the animations? Because each helmet comes off
different
differently?
sizes of the helmets, and basically, when we actually take the helmet off, I think we're moving it to the hip, and
Right.
carrying it around. So there's a lot of there were some things that we needed to resolve and make sure that the bubble for the helmet and everything like that worked. It's something that they're actively working on right now. It just won't be there for 3.9.
So another no, and he spoke absolute bullshit. The dimensions of the helmet has nothing to do with the Snap 2 mechanic or any of that stuff that we've already been told about before. And if you actually, followed episodes like I do, and I look at the technical side of it and the programming side of it, I'm not a programmer, but from what I've been told by CIG in previous videos, what he just said then was a load of shit. We just haven't done it yet, but I'm going to lie about it. Why? Why? As ILW say, just don't lie. Just tell us the truth. 60k a week on this crap. And are you backers that are, subscribing, getting your money's worth? No, you're not. No one is. Just keep complaining, guys. Keep pushing this subject harder and harder and harder every week. Get people from the outer community. Yeah, the normal everyday, plebs like myself who can't afford the subscription or don't want to do it, to also jump in and put in their 2 bob as well, yeah? The more people, the more pressure, the more upvoting, yeah, the more chance we're going to get these results that we want and not what they want and their opinions that no one cares about. We don't want your opinion. We don't want you to be trying to make a decision on something that we're requesting or even demanding be part of the game. Anyway, moving on. Alrighty.
From the live chat, lots of tests were run last night after the Idris battle was shown on ISC. Utilizing an EMP as currently balanced will likely make the Idris an easy dinner. Does the design team know this? We want a challenge.
Design team does notice. Basically, we're still going through and trying to play it right now. Right now, we have a crash where the QA department will be able to get up to the Idris mission or the Idris aspect, and then that crashes the game. So we haven't been able to do a lot of internal cycles on it yet. So, but I can guarantee you that those balance issues are going to come up internally, and then obviously once we release it out to you, then it will definitely come up that way.
Yeah, I'm aware of the Idris, but we almost had this segment go out yesterday with no footage whatsoever because we kept crashing every time. So what happens? Things work, and then they don't work, and then they work again. And we were on that downslope, like up until late Wednesday. So yeah.
We're still having issues with it, and the meeting that I got out of just right before this, we're still having issues with it. So.
Okay. They can't get an Idris in the game because the servers are crap. the engine can't handle it, and they can't still fix it. Okay, guys, the game engine you're using, you've got to stop using now. You now have hit the absolute technical ceiling of what this game engine can do, rewritten or not. You have to go to Unreal 4 Engine, and you have to cop the kick in the teeth for rewriting and stuffing around and breaking things and fixing things, and 8 years later, we're still nowhere with it. Drop the goddamn engine. Put Unreal Engine 4 in its place. Kick the staff that don't know how to use it, replace them with staff that do, and get the product built and a much higher fidelity than CryEngine's ever going to be able to provide. The settlement you've just had in court, CIG, with Crytek, allows you to now then leave the contract completely. Lumberyard's open source, so you don't have to worry about any breach of contract with them or exclusivity deals. Just go to Unreal Engine 4, import as much as you can, and get the game finished. You have just realised and just come to a very, very harsh reality that the game engine you're using is nowhere near capable enough of housing large to capital-sized ships. Now, an Idris isn't a capital-sized ship. A Javelin, or a Phoenix, or, God, Polaris even is bigger than an Idris. How the hell, a Kingship, for example, from the Vandal, also, Merchantman is quite large. By probably scale of comparison, probably not. But what I'm saying is your game engine that you're using is not able to do this. Your servers that you are using are absolute trash. Dumpster dive servers that Amazon have just chucked you on because they don't care about you. They don't care about us, that's for sure. Amazon is a multi-trillion-dollar business. Do you think they give a shit about a little niche part of the gaming industry? No! It's just getting worse, guys. They're running into real problems now that they cannot get over, even as of this week, cannot get past. They have to accept limitations. They have to accept reality. They have to accept this game is in some really dire trouble right now. Drop CryEngine engine and go to Unreal Engine 4. All of this is much more easily achievable, much more easily developed, and much more realistic than we're currently getting with CryEngine graphics and the game engine itself. Yeah, replacing stuff's easy. It's replacing stuff that are qualified is hard. And this is something that CIG, you really need to look at right now and realise that, hey, okay, you've got all these guys from CryEngine background and all that type of stuff. You've got one on the screen here. So he would already know, if he has a lot of experience with CryEngine, that this engine was never designed or could never achieve what Chris wanted. And at no stage did he open his mouth, along with Sean and Tony, to say, hey, mate, this is all well and great as a single player game for Squadron 42. You can't use this engine for the multiplayer side of it, the verse. It's just not going to ever work. Even if we do rewrite it, we're going to have massive, massive, massive mountains to overcome, and there's still no guarantees that it'll even work even then. That's where we're at Star Citizen in the development, guys, technically speaking. Keep in mind, I'm a skeptic, not a hater, not a lover. I'm somebody who's just looking at this technically and going, hey, well, the technology is unachievable. And it will be for a very long time to come. This engine should have been dropped way earlier on when Unreal Engine 4 came out and dropped, instead of rewriting it, just jumped to Unreal Engine 4 from there. 90% of new games are coming out on Unreal Engine 4. A couple came out on Frostbite, a couple came out on a couple of other game engines, which has not done well, including Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The engine they used is garbage, and it's reflected in the lack of quality of the graphics, the immersive nature of the actual physical mechanics of the game, as well as just all the bugs and all the problems and all the settings issues and your crappy frame rates. Unreal Engine 4 is the engine of the future. And if Unity, if Frostbite, if CryEngine want to aspire to follow that trend, great. If not, just maybe shut your companies down and call it a day and say, look, our engine is just not at all viable anymore, and we have no intention of developing out to that fidelity and standard of engine in future. I think Unity will. Unity are very, very, very close to the curve when it comes down to that kind of game engine echelon. But Frostbite engine, no. You talk about, all these other engines that you don't hear about anymore because they're crap. Unreal and Unity really are at the forefront, and that's it. Why even not use Unity at this stage? And CryEngine and Unity are cross-platform. Unity's open source, so you can just copy everything over into Unity to start with. And then once you've recoded it in Unity, then you can import the entire project. Every single asset from Unity into Unreal Engine 4 as a single export now. So you explain to me why that hasn't happened yet. Anyway, moving on. All right, moving on.
How is PvP bounty hunting going to be different in 3.9? Is it?
I don't think it is.
And I think they're referring to there's a card on the public roadmap about PvP bounty improvements. I think that refers to the synced assassination missions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's new. Well, those are PvE though. I don't know what it means for PvP.
Nothing.
The improvements are. It's not a big sweeping change. Like with bounty, the way that we want it to go, like there's a fair amount of work there, because right now you don't hunt. There's you just show up to a place and it's like, okay, there they are. Like there's no hunting. Like I want to feel like, the Mandalorian or Boba Fett. Like I want to go hunting.
You said Boba Fett in my presence. The card I think says it's like it allows players to hunt other players with bounties on their heads. So it's like you can still hunt when you have a bounty on there. I'm not sure. We'd have to look at it. I made a note here. I'm going to follow up afterwards, and we'll see if we can't get some information on that.
All right. So bounty hunting. No, nothing's changing. Nothing at all. I'd say that's at least another 12 months off bounty hunting before we get there. When we get there, it's going to be great, and I can start having my fun in the universe myself. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, certain people out there in the community. But, it's nowhere near anything at the moment. Just wait. It's a waiting game. Proper bounty hunting and contracting. Just wait. Okay, moving on. All right, guys, I just want you to watch this next bit because this is the problem with the devs. If you've noticed, right, the bags under his eyes have got darker during the episode. These pillar leaders, managers, they're getting worked to death, and they're frustrated because they're held up by the staff. And then they're going around chasing the staff up every single month to make sure that they've got a very clear focus on what needs to be done. They're still not getting it done because, remember, kittens to a fountain. Because that's how we run business these days, ladies and gentlemen. What the fuck? I'll never get past that. Kittens and fountains of milk and herding them. And then you got guys like these killing themselves and being screamed at because they can't get the work done because the staff have got a crap.
Continuously come.
But
are the player interaction system improvements on the roadmap significant or just minor updates? And we've got a segment in development for ISC, they're going to see that. You're going to find out a lot more about what the I won't say what piss pit.
Yeah.
I just said I wouldn't say that, and I said it.
Sorry, I blinked out for a second.
How significant would you say the player interaction system improvements are?
Significant. I mean, we're changing. So it really is just the managing of stuff, and the goal is to basically get rid of the PMA. So the idea is the player can go in, select the weapons, select kind of hotkeys associated with those weapons, and do all of that in the player interaction system.
It gets a bit boring after that, but look at the bags under his eyes. This is where my empathy actually comes forward, instead of my sarcasm or my dark humour. This guy's dead tired, and he's literally he looks like he could do about with 12 hours straight sleep without any question, or even be able to be woken up. This is the toxicity of the environment. You've got the bosses trying to get the kittens to be herded around milk fountains to have a bit of a yarn about, oh, how well should we do this? Instead of just sitting down, having a departmental meeting, going, right, this is what I want achieved. Here's the Gantt chart. Get it done. Otherwise, you're fired. Simple. KPIs, guys. But he is being hamstrung by these team leads who want to herd little kittens, into doing things together because we don't want to upset any of our SJWs and little feminists and little gay boys because, you know, it's an equal opportunity workplace. Wake the fuck up. It's a fucking workplace where shit is not getting done and we're 8 years behind anything and we're 4.5 years behind in schedule just on that on top. It's time to cut the PC crap and start shuffling out these garbage staff and replacing them. You know, and get these guys a bit of bloody slack cut because he's getting then staff, or they are getting then staff that know what they're doing. I keep going back to this, guys, because this is the root of the problem. Jared Huckabee just comes in, he has a bit of a social event, has a cup of coffee. How you going, guys? Oh, yeah, no worries. What's going on? Oh, here's my script. Thanks. And he has not missed out any sleep. This poor fella on the right looks like he is on death's door. Sleep-wise, not health-wise. But, you know, he looks like he's about to crash and burn. He had another meeting after this on that same day. So, guys, you know, I feel really sorry for these leads because they're the one that cops the most aggro. And then people like Jared just come in and go, oh, hi, how you going? I've had a great sleep, had a big lunch. I'm just chill. I'm just going to read a script here today and read some things off a computer screen and then head off home again. Thanks. And I'm getting a big fat salary for it too. And you wonder why I hate Jared Huckabee. Alright, so let's get to the next important part of the video. This is going to be interesting, guys, because this is something that I think a lot of people are interested in relation to environmentals, as well as other things we're developing towards, obviously, in relation to your survivability, your survival mechanics, etc. So we'll just go from this part and we'll go forward.
Let's see. Can you tell us more about the surrender mechanic that was mentioned in an ISC segment earlier? The ability to that was the prison system. Instead of being forced to be killed, you can now surrender. Is that
actually, I don't have very many eyes on this one, so my.
So why did Jared even ask the question when he knows that's not... Oh, that's right, he doesn't know that it's not his pillar because he knows nothing about actually what's going on in Star Citizen or its development. He's just a PR moron. I'm not even going to hear that bit out, actually. Let's just skip forward where it gets interesting again. All right, guys, so this part's going to be really interesting as well in relation to survivability and so on. So I'll get you to have a quick listen into this.
Okay. Let's see, what else do we got? Will radiation hazards be a part of the upcoming actor status system?
It will be, but not for 3.9. For the radiation, there's, I think that's part of like version 1 or version 2, what we consider actor status. But it's basically we just need a little bit more time on that one, and we're building it. We're building it up and making sure it's not only radiation, but it's other, you know, hazards that will affect you, whether that be fire or, you know, smoke or anything else that could happen, you know, either on your ship or out in a strange planet.
Okay. Weapon attachment UIs aren't some.
Guys, wow, no. By the way, that's the 12th no in a row. 12th no. This whole episode has been no. Anything that us backers want, anything that is going to improve the game, improve quality of life, and improve the whole experience for Star Citizen is no. Nothing that they want to do, because hard work, is anything that we want. So, guess what, guys? Keep pushing. Keep pumping in those complaints every week. Keep pushing the subject, especially you subscribers. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the very last part of the video, which I found a little bit humorous. Just the blatant arrogance of these guys. It's pretty confounding. But I'll let you guys make up your own minds on it. Yeah, we'll go from there. Alrighty.
What about showers and toilets? At some point, the digested food has to come out again.
Did Bender ask this one?
I don't know, but it got over 100 votes, so it made the thread.
He might have voted on that one. Then. It's not for 3.9. We know that we know we have to do it. It's something that we've talked about with the actor status, and it's built into the actor status. I'll still push for like red outs, if you're too constipated or something like that, and then or blackouts if you smell bad from not taking a shower, kind of thing. So, or other players blackout, kind of thing.
So poor hygiene becomes chemical weaponry.
Yeah, basically.
Cutting corners, not dealing with the thing. Don't want to be we put toilets in the game, we put showers in the game, but you're not going to be able to use them. They're just there because they're there. We asked this question a very long time ago in the community. Why toilets? Why showers? What, we're going to have a hot coffee mod? It just makes no sense. Any of this is making sense. And no, that's another no there, by the way. So let's get on to the very last and final no. Let's wrap this up for a final conclusion. Alrighty.
Well, that's actually it. I have to let you go. You got another meeting that I got to be able to get you to. The last question we have is: will there be any mining missions soon? They said, like, collect 5 tons of copper or something like that, but missions specifically for mining as the prospector is out and the mole is out and more personal mining tools are out.
Yeah, no. I mean, the thing is that with the mining missions, obviously we've got particularly that we need to build missions for, but right now I think the way that Tony and CR see mining is career, and missions is a little different than what I see mining missions, and so we need to get on the same page first before we actually implement it. And so I want to be able to sit there and talk about it with them and explore the pros and cons of each, and then we go from there. Cool.
All right. That's it. I know you got to get to a kickoff meeting. So, Todd, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
My pleasure.
On Friday. Folks, if you haven't, check out yesterday's Inside Star Citizen. Lots of good stuff about the cooperative play and multiplayer missions coming online in 3.8, including a look at the first NPC-controlled Idris that's looking to make life in the persistent universe just a little bit tougher. For Todd Pappy, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you next week, everybody. Take care.
All right, guys. Look. No. Did you hear me the first time? No. How about I say it another 14 times? 14 no's. All right, guys. So let's wrap this up. Star Citizen 3.0 is the new patch that's coming out. We will not be anywhere near yeses on a constant milestone improvements of life, quality of life level until at least 5.0. These next run of patches, okay, so 4, 4.1, so on and so forth, and the subsets of those points, all of these are going to be maintenance patches before 5.0, where they actually reach a new pillar. Everything they're doing now is going to be consistently no upon request, and will be coming in at some stage, and this is going to now be the new kind of standard thing you hear from CIG until patch 5.0 at the very earliest. I'm thinking 5.1, 5.2 before we actually see what I'm actually mentioning here. But I'm being generous. I'm being a bit more holistic and a bit more opened up to both sides of the audience because ILW is not here today. I'm sure with that last part he would have probably lost his mind as he focuses on mining and cargo. So, yeah, nothing is changing, nothing is growing. They are just maintenance patches. They're trying to make things work that will not work with this game engine, and now they're having to obviously do more rewriting, more physics, more, all of that needs to be done. And Chris isn't there anymore to do the rewrite of the physics, so there's your problem with the physics side of things, as well as obviously SSOCS not being as easily implemented as they'd hoped, as well as no discussion, no mention of server meshing from the server side either. The fact they're running on internal servers that cannot, instance an address in-house, the tech's not there, guys. The game engine is not designed to do what they're trying to make it do. It won't do it. End game, right? End discussion. We're in a holding pattern, as I said before, from my I Was Wrong video. We're in a holding pattern, guys, for quite a while to come, and I know ILW is going to kick my ass for saying all this now because, he's the optimist and I'm the skeptic. But from my standpoint, as it stands right now, in his absence, I believe we're in a holding pattern for Star Citizen, and that's it. We're stuck. We're stuck where we're stuck, and that's all we're going to get from now on is maintenance patches, which is just slowly, very slowly, like a slug, clearing the backlog of work that still has to be done and caught up before we even move forward. Hence why I say patch 5.0 at the very earliest before we start making forward movement on the project heading forward. Anyway, guys, please pop off in the comments. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. Tell me what could be improved upon, how we can maybe get the message out there to CIG a bit more effectively than just going through Spectrum, which is clearly creating a serious bottleneck for people that want change and want things improved. I believe the proximity ship toggle or button, whatever you want to call it, like they have with a lot of new cars, that should be prerequisite. If you're the owner of the ship, you should automatically have a toggle or a dongle built into your spacesuit to open up your own ship with, and that would be a massive improvement of quality of life. Instead of having to click this, click that, click this, click that, you just get in your ship and go. There's a lot of other things that need to be improved like that as well within the game on top. If you haven't already subscribed, guys, and you actually have made the effort to watch through to this end part of the video, please subscribe. Click the like and put all your notifications on with the bell for all notifications in future, because you know what YouTube's been doing about giving people notifications. Guys, ILW should be back here the next week or so. I will then totter on with other videos moving forward until then. But I hope you've still enjoyed this video with his absence, or if you've liked it more, what did I do differently that you liked within the same kind of format that we've been using? What other improvements can we make for the channel to obviously make your experience more fun? Anyway, guys, as per usual and as per always, peace out. Cheers.